Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today. For this week's video, we're going to be talking about acoustic guitar versus electric guitar. Which one is the easiest to learn on? Let's check it out. So if you're a parent or grandparent and you're looking to buy your kids or grandkids their very first guitar, or perhaps you're an older student and you're wondering how you should spend your hard-earned money, an electric or acoustic, hopefully you guys will find this comparison helpful. Now, as a teacher, I get asked this question all the time, and I think most of the time parents assume if you're going to learn guitar, pick an acoustic, it's the easiest way to learn. So I understand why a lot of people would think learning on an acoustic guitar is the easiest and best way to learn. But that's not always the case. Now, on an acoustic guitar, there's oftentimes no buttons, there's no switches, you just pick it up and you start playing it. And when you look at an electric guitar, there's switches, there's buttons, there's pickups, there's cables. And so I think people think, well, that's a more advanced instrument. You need to start with something simple and work towards advanced. But when it comes to learning the guitar, playability is the most important. So what exactly do I mean by playability? Well, the electric guitar has a few advantages over the acoustic in this category. And that just means the physical way we play it. So electric guitars require less pressure to play the notes. The guitar bodies tend to be, quite a bit thinner than an acoustic, so you can hug it right against your body. And, on an acoustic, you might be reaching kind of over, especially if you're young and you have short arms and you're trying to strum and play the notes. And just physically, it's harder to play. And that can be a real detriment to, developing a passion when everything hurts and you're trying to get finger calluses. On electric, it requires less pressure to play the notes. The necks are thinner, the bodies are thinner. So that can be a real advantage when you're first learning. So what are some of the potential downsides to having an electric guitar as your first instrument? Well, first of all, you need to learn what all your knobs and switches do, which can be a little overwhelming at first, but generally a guitar will have a volume knob and a tone knob, which is just the bass and treble balance, as well as a pickup selector. And each position of your selector will give you a different tone. So there's lots of tones to be had on an electric guitar, but it does take some time to familiarize yourself with your particular instrument. Now the sky's the limit when it comes to electric guitars. If you have a small practice amp, there's usually a few tones that you can get on there. But nowadays there's all sorts of solutions that were not available when I was learning. With a simple adapter, you can plug your electric guitar into a phone or an iPad or a computer and get all sorts of effects and just make any kind of tone you want to mimic your favorite artists. So it's really cool. There's lots of expandability when it comes to an electric guitar as well. So what about starting on an acoustic guitar as your first instrument? What are some of the advantages and disadvantages to this? Well, first of all, it's simple. You just put it on your lap and you start playing. You don't have to worry about amps or plugging in or knobs and this and that. It's just a very simple and pleasing instrument, and you get the immediate feedback. Whereas on electric guitar, if you just are playing unplugged, it's not quite as pleasing an experience as, you know, strumming a big chord on acoustic and feeling it vibrate against your body and projecting. It's a very rewarding experience. But it is harder to play, as I mentioned. Fretting the notes is harder, so building up the calluses will take longer, and it can be discouraging. And of course, body thickness, like we talked about with the electric. Oftentimes, if a parent says, you know, I think I would really like them, you know, the student to learn on an acoustic, I will recommend a thinner body, depending on the age of the student. This one's a full-size body, but you can get, you know, 3-inch, 3.5-inch bodies on acoustic guitars that make it really, you know, so much easier for a student to reach over and play. And the neck width too. Almost every acoustic is a thicker neck than an electric, which again makes it harder for a student to reach around and play complex chords and notes. And you know, the position of playing guitar can be really quite awkward, and so you do have to fight with that a little bit. And you know, I certainly wouldn't recommend a jumbo body. Something like this concert body with a cutaway and a deep shoulder cut in this way, I think is a really great choice. So what are my final recommendations? Which instrument should you pick up if you're buying your first guitar? Well, personally, I would lean towards the electric. I think, you know, removing some of those initial roadblocks as a student is learning is really beneficial. It helps, you know, the student have a sense of accomplishment if they can kind of actually play these things and not worry about, you know, building up these heinous calluses that will take a month and it really hurts. Electric guitar kind of eases you into that. Acoustic guitar, there's nowhere to hide. Now, I've started students on, you know, classical, nylon string, on steel string, on electrics. All sorts of instruments have come in to my teaching studio. And there's one sort of wild card, and that's passion. If a student is passionate, if they're so excited to learn new concepts every week and they practice hard, it won't matter what kind of instrument they have. They can overcome that. But that being said, I think overall, I would lean towards the electric. And a final thing to consider when you're buying your first guitar is what kind of music do you like to listen to? Now, when you're just a kid, maybe you don't quite have that developed, but if you're in junior high, senior high, or an adult, you generally know what kind of music you enjoy listening to, and you should match up your guitar to those passions. So if you love listening to flamenco and classical, get the nylon string guitar. If you like playing fingerstyle guitar, folk music, or modern fingerstyle, whatever you like to listen to, go with the steel string. And if you like to play rock, metal, jazz, blues, country, electric guitar is going to be a big fit. Now, there's so many different models to choose from, but I did a video called 10 Guitars, 1 Song. So I'll put a link to that above. And basically, I use a bunch of different really common electric guitars. So if you're not quite sure what you should pick, take a listen to that video. It's just really short clips of these guitars playing back to back. It might help you, you know, sort of find out which tones you like. And finally, if you found your way to this video because you're looking to purchase your first guitar, I say congratulations to you. Playing guitar is such an amazing experience. It's an instrument that can go with you from, you know, elementary school all the way till you're in your 80s. It doesn't matter how young or old, you can always enjoy the guitar. It's such a great way to express yourself and to, you know, just put your emotions into an instrument. It's such an expressive instrument. So congratulations. I hope you find the model that's perfect for you. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. My information will be on the screen right now. Have a great week, you guys. We'll see you next week with a new video. Take care.